All right, on this episode of Building Kingdom, we're going to try to get the new shift bushing in. Most of the videos I watch for this are, doesn't look like the guy's having fun. Like 3 of the videos, the guy ties a rope to the shift rod, and I'll show it to you here in a second, and tries to pull it back through, and I think every single video they broke the rope or it didn't work. So that tells me this isn't going to be fun. I jumped ahead this morning before I taped. I already got the shift bushing unhooked, the shift rod unhooked and pulled out of the car. I'm at the hard point now where it's time to put the bushing back in. It's not going well. Yeah, I pulled the rod all the way out and wire wheeled it and took a piece of Scotch-Brite, cleaned the shaft up really good because you have to slide the entire shaft all the way in to the back. That's what she said. Either way, got to get it in there. And I've tried a couple different times to just push it in, and it's not working. I thought maybe I could take the bushing and put it on the detent part of the shaft where it's a little bit smaller and maybe do it, but it's not quite long enough to pull that one off. So now I've got the bushing back in the bracket. I'll show it to you here in a second, and I've created a little sling with some zip ties to hold the shaft up. And I'm going to go to the front of the car and grab onto that bumper we put on there, and I'm going to put my foot on it and see if I can pop this thing through. It's fighting me. It really is. But yeah, when we're done with this part, I'm going to throw a couple parts on this quarter midget quick and get this thing out of the garage and in the trailer so that we can move on to the other projects that we want to do. I've been thinking more about the LS swap on my truck. I'm not sure I want to do that. I like my truck. I like driving my truck, and I'm going to be honest here. I'm afraid that it won't get done in time for spring, or we'll get it done and it won't quite be right, and then it won't be as fun to drive. And right now, I just enjoy that truck. I don't really have to do anything to it. I get in it, I drive it. People like it. I don't know. I think we're going to hold off on that a little bit and move on to the BadMobile. We'll talk more about that later. Let's deal with this stupid shift bushing. All right, so as you can see here, there's the shaft. That's the end of it from the back there. You can see I made a little sling here to hold it up. And if you look way back in there, you can see the new bushing. It's going to be blurry. See that little white circle in front of the shaft? That's the new bushing snapped into that thing there, mount. So now I'm going to go to the front of the car and try to push. I got grease and stuff all over that. Try to push this thing into there. I don't know how this is going to go. Oh, and as you can see, this little pile of stuff here, we had a family of something living inside the shifter tunnel. So pulled that cover off, and the first thing I found was that nest of goodness there. Oh, can I get my foot in here? Oh, yeah, Daddy. That's what I'm talking about. I think it went in. Let's find out. Where's my flashlight? Get it without pushing the bushing out the backside? Yeah. See it? It's not clear. Focus. Focus. There we go. We got it. It's in there. So I'm going to spray a little penetrating oil on it and try to feed that thing all the way to the back. Here we go. All right, so this part back here, this is where it actually hooks to the transmission. When you go to take this apart, you got to take this bolt out first and pop it off of this shaft so that you can turn this and take this one out. This is square. I was able to get a 9mm 12-point socket on here and get this out. In a lot of videos, the guys just do it with a crescent wrench. Yeah, that wasn't working for me. So we had to tap a 12.9 mil on here. This one's actually an 8 mil, but it's like a self-tapper. So I actually had to take this screwdriver and jam it into this side of it. Once you get it on both of them here, you can kind of pull it up so you can actually barely get to it, but I jammed this in this side of it. You can see it's kind of just like a weird thing, so I kind of jammed it in there like that where it's split, and that was enough to hold it to get the 8mm on there and actually break that loose. Then once you get that out of there, this whole piece comes out. this whole chunk comes out of here, and it's actually got a plastic bushing on both sides. Those are the plastic bushings I was talking about before, these big square ones here. But on this, they were in good shape. Looked like they'd probably already been replaced once. So we didn't need to replace these. We took this bolt out, we slid this shaft out. You saw me push this in with my foot. Well, guess what? It was just as hard to get it all the way back here. And that's a long ways, because that's all the way down this tunnel. You can see the shifter heads right there, where the shift handle goes. And what I did, now on a regular Beetle, I don't know if you're gonna be able to do it like I did it, because this is a Baja and the front's been all chopped up. I took those two pieces of pipe and put them against the end of it and shoved it in there. You can see I moved this fog light with my body. Yeah, and that's a shifter, or that's a jack handle, the bigger one. And when it was all the way in, this was right at the front of the car. So, I mean, what is that? That's 4 foot long, probably. Jack handle is what I used to push that thing in there. Yeah, not easy. It ain't easy getting that thing in there. In some of those YouTube videos, they kind of make it look like it's real easy. No, but there's more than one way to skin a cat. So we got it in there. Now we got to put the shifter handle back together. And from the videos I did watch, they say to put it in second gear before you tighten all the bolts up. So if I can find second gear, which was the whole point here, was to be able to find first and second, then we will maybe win. Maybe? I don't know. Let's bolt the rest of this back together. All right. It's so dark in here. Oh, it's not terrible, I guess. Shifter's in. I don't know if you'll be able to see this while I shift, but I'll try to show you. So where are we right now? Right now, this is neutral. So this should be first, second. That should be third and fourth. First, second, third, fourth. Come over, push down, reverse. So, I'll be honest, if the shifter itself feels way better. Like, it's not all wobbly. Everything feels much smoother. So, I did what I saw on YouTube, and I left these. So these are slotted underneath these bolts. I left those loose. I found what I thought was second gear. I tightened the bolts up. And then, I mean, that's where we're at now. And it feels pretty good. I mean, I haven't tried to drive it yet, but we're still dealing with tuning issues. I actually found somebody who knows these things better than me, and I'm kind of working with him a little bit to try to figure out exactly how this thing's supposed to function, because I don't know anything about air-cooled Volkswagens. And they're kind of a weird, unique vehicle. So the shifter appears to be fixed. Now I got to move this thing out of the way so that my father-in-law can get his BMW in here, because he wants to do an oil change and something about an intercooler. I don't know. BMWs aren't my thing. So, what else? What else we got going on here? Oh, the quarter midget. Ugh. I just finished messing with this. Got it all back together because I'm going to put it in the trailer. I'll tell you what, though. It's the air cleaner. That thing is a nightmare to get on because of the way the chassis is. I've talked about that before. I got this 90 off of, I think it was siliconeintakes.com. I think was the name of the website. So that'll go on there. I got to get a piece of pipe so that we can actually just do this, because that'll make it a lot easier. You can't even jam this thing on there. It's impossible. But with that 90 on there, hopefully, I'll be able to take this on and off, clean it, you know, between races or whatever. So that's what we got going on there. Other than that, this thing's pretty much together. I mean, the season ended, unfortunately, before we got all the way there. We still got to put a chain on it, but I just put the gas tank back on it to get a new petcock. So yeah, other than that, this thing's pretty much ready to go. I got to probably adjust the belts for the kids, and who knows, by next season, those belts might not even, I might have to, move the seat. Who knows? I mean, move the belts, move the seat. Yeah, it is what it is. Kids grow. They might not even fit this damn car by next year. That would be my luck. There we are. That thing's together. We didn't make it this season, which really stinks. But next season, we're good to go. We should be ready right at the beginning of the season, ready to go. We got to grind these tires, obviously, but that is that. I got to go grab the little trailer for this, put this stuff all away in the trailer, all of this crap for this thing, and get this bay open over here so that well, I'm going to get this bay open so I can move the Beetle over there for now. But we got things coming that we're going to do. So hang on a second. Let me flip this camera around. So let's talk. All right, let's talk about the BadMobile. We got the Firebird. You saw that, obviously. I talked about a G-body chassis. Let me touch back on that again. The Firebird has leaf spring rear suspension, leaf spring rear suspension, and it's a unibody vehicle. It doesn't have a full frame. Because of what we're trying to do, we kind of want a full frame. On top of that, it has manual steering and drum brakes on all four corners. So if we switch to a G-body chassis, we get disc brakes up front, power steering, and a triangular 4-link rear end. So that's a significant amount of upgrades if we switch to a G-body chassis. It's still 108 inches, so it shouldn't be too big a deal to drop the body onto a G-body chassis. So I'm trying to be budget friendly, of course. So I've been looking around for a 350 with an automatic transmission, like combo somebody took out of something. We don't want to do a ton of wiring. We want to try to keep it simple. And looking for chassis, and it's like, it's going to be expensive because of the time we live in right now. So then I was like, well, maybe I can find a G-body with a 350 already in it, running and driving, and then we can just cut it off at the firewall and drop the Firebird body on it. That didn't work out. I thought I had one. I drove all the way to Syracuse. That's an hour away, hour and 20 minutes to the house, and it fired up and ran, but it was a 305, not a 350. So car ran good. And I thought, well, you know what? Maybe we'll just do the 305. It runs good. So I started looking at the car, and it was rotten. I couldn't believe how bad it was. It's not unusual for a G-body chassis up here in the Salt Belt for the rear frame rails to have some holes and stuff in them. Doesn't matter too much for what we're doing, but this was just gone. I don't even know how the back bumper was still on the car. The rear frame rails were bad. And then the floors, I was hoping to keep the floors, maybe a couple of small patch panels, and drop the Firebird right onto the floor, firewall, and everything. But the floors were gone too. The carpet was literally laying right on the muffler. So not good. I passed on that one. And then I went to look at an engine and transmission combo on the other side, up north of Buffalo, another hour and 10-minute drive. And that was running when it was taken out of a truck. No, it was not. I don't understand what it is with the marketplace and people needing to not be honest or truthful. The first guy, I don't think he fully knew exactly what he was dealing with. The second guy, I think he knew that motor had never been ran. He was just fucking talking shit. Sorry. Excuse my language. He was talking crap, lying to my face while I was standing there. Someone painted it and didn't tape off the exhaust or nothing. So there was like Chevy orange paint on the valves. Like you can see it. I pull a spark plug out, and the spark plug's brand new, never been fired. And he's like, that's the way I got it, But the story is that this thing was running in a truck, and he took it out of the truck. No. No, it was not. Now, I bore scoped anyway, because I was there and checked all the cylinders. All the cylinders looked pretty good, except number 8. Now, when you shut an engine off, some of the valves stay open, depending on where it shuts off. Which is a problem when you take the engine out. If you're not going to keep it in a dry environment, moisture can get in there because that valve is open. Especially when there's no exhaust on it. And exhaust ports are wide open since you spray painted them. So the moisture obviously got into number 8 cylinder. The cylinder wall looked pretty rusty. It may have came around. Maybe it would have worked. The motor might have been good and the tranny might have been good, but it's the dishonesty that turned me off. It was only $500 for the pair, which is cheap. But when the person's lying about the history, it makes you question the purchase, and I wasn't going to risk it. So what we're going to do for a drivetrain, I don't know. We got this 4.8, we got this 6-liter. Like I said before, I might not put the 4.8 in my truck now. So I'm kind of leaning more toward the 6-liter because when I took the 6-liter out of the truck we took it out of, we actually broke the plastic intake. So because I want to be simple, I'm kind of thinking about maybe getting carburetor intake for that. And maybe we'll put a carb on it and make it super easy. And maybe we'll just use that 6 liter because I have it here on the stand. So what we're gonna bolt it to, I don't know. Maybe we'll just bolt it to a turbo 350 or turbo 400 or something. Keep it even more simple, you know, and get it in there. But we gotta find a G-body chassis. I mentioned before my buddy had one and the front frame horn was bad. Anyways, that chassis with the bent frame horn, we used to race street stocks, Don and I. Don did it for a long time. He was pretty involved. So I'm actually gonna grab my Uncle Don and run up to my buddy's house to look at that chassis again. Because it's cheap and my buddy's willing to sell it to me for like 150 bucks, and it has control arms on it, everything. The only thing it's missing right now is a steering box, but he might have one of those laying around. I'm gonna have Don go up with me and see how bad it actually is. We might be able to straighten it. We've done it in the past, so it's definitely a possibility. So I'm gonna grab him hopefully this afternoon if it doesn't start raining, and go take a look at that. So I'd like to get moving on the BadMobile because I think it'll be a really fun project. There's a lot of creative stuff going on with that we can play with and move around, and wide body in cars is fun. And I've always wanted to do a body swap. It's not really a body swap because we're just putting it on a chassis. That would be nice. If I could find a 350 with an automatic G-body that I could just cut off the firewall, leave the floors and firewall, and then slide this 68 Firebird body over it, that would be awesome. I don't think that's gonna happen. That would be awesome. So I'm gonna keep looking. But we're moving forward. We still got stuff to do on this thing. I haven't done the floor patch yet. We haven't put in the new bucket seats yet. We're dealing with this shifter. I kind of just want to get the shifter. We got the shifter figured out. I kind of want to get the thing running right. Running, moving, driving under its own power, like all of that stuff figured out, because then it's just, you know, kind of uplifting before we move on to the next part. And winter is coming soon, so we're really running out of time on, I mean, I'll drive it, I don't really care, but yeah, we're running out of time of being able to have fun with this stuff. So the wonderful, you know, things of living in New York. So on to the next thing. All right, well, it did start raining yesterday, so we didn't get a chance to go check out that G-body chassis. Instead, I kept messing with this. This is the little electric heater I had talked about before. I bought this thing on eBay. It was like 40 bucks. It's cheap. It's supposed to be like 800 watt or something like that, but there's a couple little box fans in the back of it. Sucks air in, blows it across the heater element, and then out this side of it. The air's warm. I mean, I wouldn't say it's hot per se. I think you're probably normally supposed to mount these inside the vehicle so that you can switch it on and off, and like you just like strap the hoses up in there to point at the windshield or whatever. We're not doing that. On a Beetle, the pipe edge here goes right into the dash for the defrost. There's one on each side because normally it comes from the back and runs up this channel right here from the exhaust, but the heat in the Beetles was never that good. So, and it's not hooked up for this because we have a Baja exhaust system and none of that stuff runs through that anymore. And our heater channels are Swiss cheese, so it really wouldn't help us anyway. So I grabbed this thing for 40 bucks, threw it in here, wired it up. They only sent me a little bit of hose. We didn't have enough hose to do all three. So I'm gonna get some more of this stuff, run it over to that nozzle there for the dash, for that side for the defrost. We got this one hooked up for the defrost on this side. And then from that middle port, I'm actually gonna run that one up to this piece of vacuum cleaner attachment that I had laying around. And that one goes actually right down to like the footwell where the driver's feet are. So we're gonna hook all three of those up. Then I'm gonna extend the wire on those switches, put those inside the car so we can turn it on and off from inside the car. And I don't know, maybe it'll take the edge off. It doesn't really blow a ton of air. Maybe enough to keep the windshield from frosting up on us. I don't think we'll be driving this thing when it's super, super cold. But I mean, right now this week it's like in the 60s. So I mean, might need a little defrost in the morning. You never know. But we started to get this thing running right. But I had this here and it was quick, quick hitter while my father-in-law was here working on his BMW. So it was something I was tinkering with, little, creative attempt at heating the car. Yeah, kind of a boring video. We got some stuff done, but nothing super exciting, really. So, until next time, keep it creative and happy building.